Like a night out in Sheffield, I could read say triple T. On Sheffield United, come thrill me again.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Blades of Glory. In this episode we get a strong sense of déjà vu as we play Sunderland twice away, and in our live game again we've got Sheffield Wednesday away, but this time in the league. So you've got those games to look forward to, but before then there's a bit of transfer news. I didn't really expect to give you this last time, but we've sold Kaolan Lavery, as you can see. Decent player, but if you look at his report, 56 doesn't look that great to me. He's actually done quite well for Barnsley since he's come in, but we sold him for 375k. He has done well, so that might be potentially a little bit of a bad idea, but he wasn't playing for us at all. We brought in Justin Shayubu, who you can see has a bit better potential on him. Current ability maybe not quite as good at the moment. He's a similar kind of player. He can play as a target man or a deep line forward role, which we use reasonably well because he's decent heading, decent height. I just thought it was probably worthwhile swapping those two around. He was brought in for a bit more money, 525k, but on a bit less wages. I think at the moment 3k. So I thought it was probably worth doing. Lavery's 23 years old. He's just going to sit around, not really improving because he has to play to improve. Whereas this guy, I think we can use him a bit more rotation basis, play in the under 23s most of the time, and hopefully improve from there. So the first game I've got for you is an absolute cracker. We went back to our first team in the 5-3-2 formation after that cup game against Sheffield Wednesday. This was against Derby, obviously a very good team, and you see they got off to a good start there, good finish from George Thorne. We managed to hit back though through a goal from Clayton Donaldson. You see how wide there, lovely ball from Stevens, tucked away nicely by him. We actually managed to take the lead in the 75th or 76th minute, I think, in the end. Freeman chips it forward to Donaldson. He's done this a lot this time. He's played a sister for Sharp, who finished it quite nicely. We brought him actually on at half time. We swapped him for Evans, and we went to our 4-1-2-1-2 formation in this game, which I think changed it a bit for us. But as you're going to see, it wasn't a win in the end. Yeah, they got this goal shortly after another goal to make it 3-2 to them, and Andre Wisdom surprisingly with a pretty good finish. I've never known him to finish like that before. As I say, yeah, we managed to finish the game 3-3 in the end. Freeman with a good ball over the top, Sharp with another excellent finish. Good to see him getting in on the goals. Overall then, as you can see, reasonably even in terms of stats and chances. In the game, the highlights were pretty evenly split, with basically all of them being goals, to be fair. But yeah, reasonably good result at home against Derby. They're one of the top teams in the league, I'd say, probably battling for playoffs at least. So yeah, pretty happy with that. The next game was the first of two away against Sunderland. We kept Sharp in the team because he performed so well in the last game. I think we brought in Carruthers in the advanced playmaker and Coots as well in centre mid. Didn't get off to a great start. This was just before half time they scored, and then they managed to score again just after half time. You can see here, good finish from Oviedo in the 46th minute. So that really struck us back. That really put us back. We changed the formation at half time to 4-1-2-1-2, but that didn't really change it too much for us. We got a bit more control and possession, but we were down and out after 2-0. The next game was against Bolton, who were actually sitting in 24th. I think no wins out of 6, and no draws as well. They'd lost all 6 games. So we went with our 4-1-2-1-2. We wanted to try and win this game, but unfortunately, here we go. We can see Edwards on the left, coming down the wing. Oof. Probably isn't an easy as goal as Adam Lafondra is ever going to score. We managed to equalise though before half time through Ched Evans out wide here to Freeman. Absolutely cracking ball into him. Good head on by him. He had 2 defenders around him. How he got that header was beyond me, really. That was a pretty good header from him. So at half time it was pretty even, so we made a couple of changes. We swapped, I think, Hayden and Lundstrom around box-to-box midfielder and ball-winning midfielder roles. But they got this goal in the 66th minute to make it 2-1. So I made a couple more changes after that. Actually, that included stuff like changing the distribution from Blackman and less risky passes on Evans, and you can see another combination with him and Freeman getting the goal. It's not really what our 4-1-2-1-2 was designed to do, crosses from miles back, but I'll take that. It went to 2-2. That goal was actually from kickoff, I think. It took just a couple of minutes of possession, so I suppose that was quite good for us. In the 81st minute, we eventually managed to take the lead. A good finish from Evans, his second of the game. And then as the time ticked away towards the end of the match, 92nd minute, 93rd minute in fact, will be when the goal goes in. Freeman, absolutely fantastic finish from him. He's provided 2 assists. He deserves to get in on the act. It ended 4-2. I would say that was deserved. We did have a bit more possession. We had more shots and more on target. That's what our formation was looking to try and do. I think they got a bit lucky with the goals. They were their only actual highlights of the game, from what I can recall. So yeah, a good result, one that we should be getting, but it sort of shows that we needed a bit more tweaks to our 4-1-2-1-2. These are exactly the kind of games we want to play it in. So using them to try and tweak it around is quite a good sort of tool to be able to help us build this formation to something which is more effective. But overall, yes, very good result. One we really needed to win to bounce back from that 2-0 defeat, our first defeat of the season against Sunderland. So the next game was against Norwich. This was at home, but we did go with our 3-5-2. We actually tweaked it so that the attacking midfielder was playing in the defensive midfield position. That was to counter Stephen Naismith, their shadow striker, and he wasn't in the game at all. As you can see there, we got the goal through Sharp, and that's how it ended 1-0. It was a bit gritty performance, I must say. They had more shots, same on target, a bit less possession. You couldn't argue if it was 0-0. I don't think they had many highlights themselves. The final game before the live game I'm going to show you was against Sunderland again. And yes, this was Déjà vu. We lost 2-0. I tried to tweak the tactics a bit. I think we had the 3-5-2, but we just had the 3 central midfielders in a bank of 3. Didn't really change it too much for us. Maybe we were a bit unlucky to lose 2-0 in this game, but I think we deserved to lose again. See, they're a very strong side. They got their first goal from a set piece, something that I haven't really changed at the moment. I don't know if that could have helped that much. McManaman was very free there, so I'm going to have a look at the set pieces, actually try and change them before the next game. But if we ignore their second goal, that was James Vaughan again. Just looking at the stats, yeah, we deserve to lose this game. There's a bit of rotation, a couple of players coming into the team, like Coots started the game. He's been asking for more game time recently, and Conser as well, as it was a cup game. He didn't play that well, unfortunately. But as it is the cup, I'm not that disappointed that we're out. I think we're unlikely to get much further. If we come up against a Premier League team, we'll probably get knocked out. Looking at the table then after those games, we're still in the playoffs somehow. Actually, I think we did get 2 wins and 1 draw and 1 loss in those 4 games, so not bad actually. 15 points. There's quite a lot of teams around each other in that sort of playoff area, so there's probably going to be quite a lot of movement if I lose 1 game or I win 1 game. In terms of the leading teams, you got Ipswich up there, some surprisingly, although they did do that in real life. I think they won a few of their early games. Birmingham still up there, Middlesbrough unsurprisingly up there. Sunderland, I'm glad they're up there as they've beaten us twice. Wolves still near down the bottom, and so are Norwich. Bolton still haven't won a game. That's not that surprising. We should have won more comfortably there. One thing I didn't mention before, actually, Ched Evans picked up an injury. He's on 6 goals for us this season, top scorer in the Championship, top scorer for us, 6 in 6 games, but he's out for 2 to 4 weeks. He picked up that injury, I think it was against Norwich, actually. But that's not good news. But we did bring in Shayubu. That may be a chance for him to get a few more games under his belt. But anyway, let's get into the tactics for the Sheffield Wednesday game. So this is the tactic we're going to go with again. You'll recognise this. This is pretty much the same thing we used to beat them before. That might have been slightly lucky, but I didn't think we really needed to change it that much. Coots has come in central midfield. As I said before, he's been complaining. We don't want him to be in that much distress because he's one of the most influential players in the dressing room. But also, I don't know how much we want to play him. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, 3.5 star, but he's 29. He is a good player, but I think I'd rather be playing Fleck in there. Or maybe someone like Lundstrom as well. But if we go back to this 4-1-2-1-2, he should get more games because he's really a Carolera. He's quite a good Carolera, I'd say. So I'd be happy to play him in that. So hopefully we get more games where we can play 4-1-2 and we can play him in those games as well. You'll have noticed in this lineup we've got Simon Moore. He's just back from injury and he is just about alright to play. He's a bit better than Blackman. Blackman's not been terrible actually since he's come in, 6.78 in the last few games, 6.74. That's not quite up to scratch, you'd have to say. So I'm quite pleased he's back. We can try him out in this game. I think he'd just be able to play every game from through for the rest of the season, hopefully from now. We might play Blackman again in the cup games, but he's on loan, so there's no real reason for us to try and develop him that much more when we don't need to actually put him in the starting team. We're going to play Basham because he's actually played quite well when he's come in. Carter Vickers and O'Connell are in the middle. You'll notice Stearman's gone out of the lineup, and this has changed from stopper to defend. Stearman's not been playing well for us. He's been probably our worst player this season, which I didn't expect because he's actually very solid and he knows the championship. 6.63 rating, that's not really good enough for us. So we moved him out. We kept sort of the same settings on each of these defenders, closed down more, tackle harder, mark tighter, fewer risky passes. This is just sort of designed to try and make them hopefully follow the players a bit more. I've noticed on the Football Manager they don't really follow the players running through, so mark tighter hopefully and close down more should help them to follow the players running through and trying to get in behind them. Fullback Freeman obviously had a great game. I showed you before, he scored twice and got 2 assists. He's not amazing defensively, but hopefully he'll have some cover from Chris Basham if he strays too far forward. Lafferty again, it's really a toss-up between him and Ender Stevens. Stevens has been doing a bit better, but I'm sort of playing them quite a lot of rotation at the moment because they're both quite good players. I don't really want to upset either of them. Hayden, it's a toss-up again between him and Lundstrom. I feel like at the moment he's just a bit better, so I'm going to play him a bit more often, but we'll wait and see. Lundstrom hasn't played that many games so far, so if he plays a few more then we might have a bit better idea who's the better player. Brooks, of course, we always want to play him. He's the advanced playmaker, he's the young man who we want to improve. Donaldson and Sharp, there's not really too many other options. We just got Shaibu as Ched Evans is injured. I don't think he's ready to start in this game. He's come off the bench a couple of times, not really done much. He'll be starting soon and he'll probably be coming off the bench in this game. Looking at their lineup again, I think there's a couple of changes this time. They might have been playing a couple of weaker players in the cup game, which is a bit disconcerting. They've got George Boyd, I think that's on the right, Ross Wallace, Liss Muset, Jacob Butterfield has got a game face, which is surprising. We haven't seen anyone have them before. Kieran Lee, I'm not sure if he played in the last game. Corin Westwood, I'm not sure either. Adam Reach. Yeah, they've got a few more recognisable players that they didn't just buy in this season. I think these are more sort of solid players for them. So this game might be a bit tougher than the last one. Right, so as the game kicks off, I just wanted to ask you whether this is the kind of style that you enjoy. Like I'm playing, obviously, 5 or 6 games. I think it was 5 this episode, showing you the highlights, showing you the odd goal from them, and then sort of summarising it and what my opinion on the game was. I don't know if that's what you like. That's what I would personally like to see from streamers. So I sort of did it the way I'd quite like to watch. If you have any feedback on that at all, whether you'd like to see another live game, as Donaldson just misses, whether you'd like to see another live game, or you'd like to see less games, you'd see more of the highlights from them, and then still have this live game. So maybe it's going to be a shorter episode, or it's going to be looking at the other games in a bit more depth. Also, I could obviously do another live game at the end of the game, or just do live games for every game, that'll take a lot longer, but I'll be happy to do that if that's what people want to see. So yeah, get your opinions on there. I'm more than happy to listen to anyone. As Stephen Fletcher heads it in, I wasn't really paying attention to that. I don't know what went wrong there, but we can obviously see in the replay, Wallace out wide, Freeman not really standing up to him, letting him get the cross in. Fletcher gets a good head on it. Who is he up against there? Basham. Basham should be doing better there. I think Basham's quite a good, solid defender. He's not exactly amazing on the ball, and he's not exactly amazing at passing and stuff like that. So he's got to be good at defending. So that was a bit disappointing there. He's gone down to 6.5. I don't really blame the game engine there for giving me a 6.5 for that. That was a bit annoying. Coots picks up a yellow card. Strikers aren't playing well today, but we have got a bit of the ball in their half, so slightly encouraging signs going into half time. I'm just looking at the match stats here. In terms of passing, Jack O'Connell's not really passing very well, but we're not playing it out of the back. That's sort of not great, but kind of understandable. But David Brooks is not having. Oh no, David Brooks is passing wonderfully. It's actually Danny Lafferty who's not passing very well, but he has done a couple of key passes, so maybe he's just being more direct, taking more risks. So at the moment, I don't think I'm going to change anything. Sometimes I would when I see players passing is not very good for the game, or I might tweak it to sort of less risky passes. But I'm going to leave it for now. And see what happens, whether we need to make any subs. The ball's whipped in. Not great. It looks like this highlight's going to carry on. Westwood boots it out. Not a great header. Ooh, it looked like there could have been a bit of a dangerous foul there, but Palmer comes down the right. Oh, it's one of those chances which you like if it's going against your team, where it's just a shitty cross. Let's be honest, it's just a crap cross, and the keeper deals with it not in the smoothest way, but good enough for me, really. There, they've just made a change. They've brought on a fullback for Ross Wallace, so I might. Let's see what happens in this highlight. Oh, it's just put wide. I might make a tactical change here. I think we're going to go to our diamond formation here. You might as well. Not really too much can go wrong there. We're going to take, obviously, one of the centre backs off. I think we'll take O'Connell off actually this time. So we'll swap him in. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Swap him in there. Put Lundstrom on. Put Flecky Boy on. I will give Shaibu a run out, but we'll leave that for a little bit later now. Okay, we're not really getting much of the ball in their half at all, so this is not great. We try to control the game. There's a highlight here, so hopefully we can do what we want to do with this formation. They've got it back. No, it looks like Fletcher's going to whip it in, and there we go. Ooh, good save from Moore. I'm pleased that he's making good saves like that on his return from injury. We still haven't got much of the ball in their half, so I'm going to actually have another little look at the tactics here. So more direct, higher tempo. Obviously can't exploit the flanks because we're playing a narrow formation, but we'll just go with this. Couple more sort of long ball strategies, just with less players at the back. Hayden's struggling a bit fitness wise. We've got a bit more of the ball in our half, but not much. I think it's time to bring Shaibu on, but it's going to be a bit difficult with him. Actually, we'll just bring Carruthers on. I'm sorry, Shaibu. You aren't playing very much at the moment, but I think that's probably required. Can we change anything more at the end of this game? Oops. Oh, here we go. Is there a chance for us? This would be quite lucky, I'd have to say, considering the chances they've had. But again, it's a counter-attack from them. It looks like they're going to get the chance here. Palmer out wide. Boyd going forward. Fulton out wide. Pudil, he's come on off the bench. And that's a pretty good header from Muse. Okay, so that's the end of the episode. Ending on 2 defeats, unfortunately. They are against, you'd probably say, bigger and better teams, but losing against a rival is never good, and the way we lost, not really with any chances, wasn't great in that one. But moving on, we got Wolves at home, so the potential to win there against quite a big team. I don't think they're doing very well. They're still in 20th, you can see there. We've slipped down actually to 7th after that loss. But as I said before, a win or a loss is probably going to change you quite a lot in the table at this stage, so I'm not going to look into that too much. Next time we should be tuning in at either the QPR or the Hull game. I'd say Hull at home will probably be quite interesting for you to watch because we've just watched away games so far. Hull are a big team as well. That might be quite a good one to tune into. So that's likely to be it. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe. If you didn't, don't worry about that. Don't bother. And yeah, I hope to see you next time.